One of the things I thought that was particularly interesting about Vita is that you can use it as a PS3 controller, or you can obviously share stuff between it, which after the Nintendo conference kind of puts you in the same sort of space. Do you now see a big battle potentially between you two, and can you envisage a lot of shared experiences and software types coming to both?
I think it's difficult for me to address the Wii U proposition because I'm not sure I fully understand what the intention is there. I think, look, from a PlayStation perspective, when we launched the original PSP, we talked a lot at that time of potential for interoperability or shared content between the devices. For whatever reasons, I mean, frankly, that really never came to fulfillment. I think development challenges probably went against that. So it's really encouraging for me that we're sort of fulfilling that promise now with Vita, and being able to demonstrate tangibly opportunities for that this early, i.e. prior to launch, especially with Ruin, which I thought was a really exciting concept. I think bodes really well for the device, and really well for, as a thought starter to get the development community thinking about opportunities there. Publishers I've spoken to are really excited about that opportunity. I think people are increasingly thinking about how they basically keep the consumer engaged with a franchise, and sort of thinking kind of holistically about how the franchise operates around different devices and different ways of delivering content, whether it's DLC or the packaged media form. And I think Vita gives it just another whole opportunity to make that more powerful.
And from the people you've been speaking to at the show, has the general reaction, do you think, been surprised at the price point?
I think the general reaction that I've heard from most people has been positively surprised. I mean, if you looked online after the January announcement and pretty much in the intervening months, speculation really generally was for a much higher price point. I think it's aggressive. We deliberately set it to be aggressive. The reason being that I think you need to build momentum with a portable device very, very quickly, and move very quickly from an early adopter audience and a technology enthusiast into a mass market proposition. And price is one of the tools that lets you do that. Because
from when I was picked up, it does feel like a luxury item. It's got kind of shades of iPhone 4 in the kind of the way that it's got that kind of machine steel sort of vibe to it. Are you making a profit straight away on each one sold, or is it kind of like the PS3 where you take a hit for a while to build user base?
Well, I think clearly I can't talk too specifically about profitability. I think the way I'd frame it, Tim, is that we are certainly not in the same territory that we were for the first couple of years for PlayStation 3. It's a significantly better business model for us on Vita.
How are you going to ensure that third parties keep developing for PS Vita long after the launch? Because I think that's, in the latter days of PSP, one of the things that fell away, and we've seen on other handhelds as well. The same's probably been true on 3DS, not 3DS, on DS as well. How do you keep those third parties coming back and bringing their big IPs to the system?
So I think there's a couple of ways you can influence sort of longevity of development around franchises. One is, again, in contrast to PSP, where essentially it was kind of taking a home console experience and replicating it on a portable device. I think we've worked really hard on Vita to sort of pack in as many new interfaces that are only possible on the portable experience, and that does two things: differentiates gaming on that device from other devices, but it also gives developers, I think, a roadmap and different ways to explore getting the best out of their franchises. The other thing as well, which we touched on earlier, is because you've got a very connected device, especially with the opportunities around 3G, I think it opens up a lot of opportunity for whether it's delivering different episodes of the franchise in different ways, cross-play potentially between the home and the portable experience. All of these bode well for extending franchise life cycle.
One of the interesting things about that sort of tech side of things is that there was the talk about the cross-game chat being usable in Vita, where you can obviously jump between games and stick with a group of friends. And the guy who was sat next to me when that was announced said, "Oh, that's amazing, Sony. It's taken a new system for you to finally do cross-game chat." Is there any news on that for PS3? It's one of the things we get most asked about.
No, really not any new announcements to put on that. We know that it's a huge thing out there. We have continued to do as much R&D in the area, but we don't have anything to announce right now.
And with going back to Ruin, and obviously transferring stuff between the two systems, and also Konami talking about that with the Metal Gear stuff, the transferring, I think Hideo Kojima described it as. Does the move to using things like cloud-based saves, based on what's happened with the PSN outage, is that something you've had to sort of think quite carefully about? Because you could sort of fast forward in time 3 years, and if you imagine a similar situation of people losing a lot of data or having a load of data unavailable for a long time, I mean, the reaction could be even worse.
I think it's a very fair question, and it's given us certainly, I would say, a pause for thought around cloud storage. Having said that, similar to Crossgame chat, it's one of the things that we heard from gamers that they were really interested in and wanted to explore on the system. So I think, you know, we have to strike the right balance between pursuing what clearly our audience wants while balancing that against any risks associated with it, and address it in the context of the wider security measures that we're putting in place.